Yeah, now reset. Right. So this meeting is specifically about the March Tree Festival. It's a 10-day event that's coming up in starting next Friday till the Sunday after that. And the idea is to get as much participation, as much excitement about observing trees as possible, and how to do that, or what are we aiming to achieve through this festival, and how can you participate in the festival is something that I want to share with you today. And the tree festival is essentially for celebrating season because especially this season, which is spring and summer, is a very exciting season, very happening, lot of colors, fragrances in the air. So what better time than to get hooked to looking at trees, right? So it's a celebration of this beautiful season and the trees that adorn themselves in this season, and how we can, our observations and fascination with trees can actually help track the impact of climate change in India. So, in this session, I'll talk about the trees and seasons, like I mentioned, climate change, the project, what do we know about from the data that we have so far? How can you use the application and the website that we have for the project? How do you join the March Tree Festival that I just mentioned? And other ways than just looking at trees that you can maybe use. So this is something that trees do. They change every month, every week. Even some of them are very dramatic and they show very beautiful transitions, noticeable within a span of a week or two. And they also show the same kind of changes regularly over the years. And this change happens through their leaves, flowers, and fruits. And when we study these changes that happen in a year on a tree, and multiple years after that, this way of observing trees is called phenology. Phenology is basically a study of life cycle events of any living organism, which also includes organisms like insects, beetles, butterflies. Butterflies are very famous in the way they change or metamorphose. And we can do the same sort of observation for trees as well. And that observation can tell us many, many things about the trees themselves, about the environment, ecology of our surroundings, and so on. So, this is an example of what phenology of our favorite red silk cotton may look like. These are the stages of leaves that the tree exhibits. There are new leaves, mature leaves, which are fully grown, functional office goers, and then there are these retired yellow leaves that would fall off the tree very soon. Then we have stages of the flowers, which are buds. This is the last stage of the bud, and bud can show a slow growth in many phases, and all of them are called buds until it blooms open into an open flower. This flower's function is, of course, to produce seeds and fruits, and they look like this in red silk cotton. This is the unripe fruit. This is the ripe fruit. When it's ready, the seeds are almost ready to be sent out in the world. And this is an open fruit where the seeds, very protected, lodged inside cotton, are dispersed, and the fluff is everywhere around us when the stage comes late in summer. So, this is how the various phases of red silk cotton look like, and observing and documenting these phases would be called tree phenology. So the stages that we basically talked about are new leaves, then the leaves grow mature, then they grow old and they shed. Then sometimes these phases don't come together, but sometimes they do. So the tree will have buds, they open into flowers, the flowers turn into unripe fruits which ripen, and in some cases they also split open to give the seeds away. And this phenomena, especially of the flowering, has been very, very fascinating for humans for uh, since we understand history and documentation of our surroundings, right? And there's a very, very inspiring example of how people in Japan and various dynasties, especially in Kyoto, they have documented the date on which the cherry blossom begins and peaks in the spring season or summer season. And when these dates are plotted onto a graph, we see over the years, so this is the data of 1200 years. And we can see that the peak of flowering used to fall between 10th and 20th of April. So this is when people would take a week off, party and picnic under the cherry blossom trees, and it was an important event culturally and even economically and ecologically as well. So, but eventually, this graph also sees a steep decline, or basically like the date when the cherry blossom peaks flowering has started to come sooner, and it started essentially after 1800s, when the Industrial Revolution started. So, global warming, climate change essentially started happening in this time when there was a massive amount of carbon being let out by the industries, and that was affecting the plants, the flowering timing of these plants across the world. And this was seen very, very beautifully in this very unintentional sort of data keeping, bookkeeping that people have done. And this actually tells us that when we observe trees again and again and again, and we document the dates when these changes happen prominently, we can actually see the impact of their surroundings, phenomena like climate change that the trees are showcasing or being affected by. And this example has been inspiring across the world, and people have been documenting various kinds of trees in Japan, in Europe, in USA, and everybody has their own projects to keep this data in one place and make it available for the people who document this data and scientists who want to use this data to understand the impact of climate change on the natural world. Yeah. But the cherry blossom that we just looked at is actually a temperate tree, which means it grows in a place where there's a massive difference in the temperature of winter and summer. But a country like India, which is a tropical country, we have more or less uniform temperature throughout the year, with little bit of dip during summer and winter, and little bit of rise during summer. So the trees obviously behave very different in tropical systems, and they're still temperature sensitive to the environmental factors, but not just temperature like it is in temperate region. For example, when we think of temperate regions, we can recognize an autumn season where the temperature starts dipping and the trees start shedding their leaves to tide through the cold weather. And then in spring, then everything that had become dormant in that season comes back to life, and new leaves, flowers, fruits, everything starts coming in. And this change happens and is monitored or is regulated only by temperature. But in tropical country like India, we also have a monsoon season, so precipitation or rainfall is equally important as temperature. And so are other factors like day length, like how much light do the trees get in a day, and so on. There are various factors, and there's a lot of diversity compared to temperate regions. In tropical country like India, there are like Season Watch itself has 172 tree species, which doesn't even come close to the number of trees that we have, the tree species that we have in India. But these are just species that people relate with, can easily identify, are seasonal, and so on. So the trees and their where they're growing in the country, what other trees they grow with, what species they belong to, all of that also influences when the trees are going to flower and fruit. And the trees themselves, depending on the species and depending on where they're growing, they may flower or shed leaves only once a year, or they may do that twice a year, or they may keep doing it throughout the year. So there's that kind of diversity as well. So to sum up all of this, it might be a little tricky to monitor the trees in a country like India, but it's not impossible, of course, especially if we consider our history and culture and geography and traditions and everything. This map just shows how trees have been associated with various festivals and economy of a place and traditions of a place. For example, in Maharashtra and even Karnataka, the local New Year is going to start very soon, which is marked by Ugadi or Gudi Padwa. And it's a custom to use the very fresh young leaves of neem and the flowers of neem in the cuisine that's prepared on these festivals. Or in Kerala, where Kanikona flowers bloom, or the Indian laburnum, or Bahawa, or Cassia fistula flowers when they bloom. The peak of the bloom has historically coincided with 14th, 15th April, and that's why people have used these flowers in celebration of the Malayali New Year, which is Vishu. And there are other trees like Mahua and Palash, or the flame of the forest in central India, which are associated with different festivals and celebrations, and they're incorporated into the customs and cuisine of the place. And there's also Lal Buranj in the Himalayas, in eastern Himalayas as well. And there are many other trees and flowers. I'm sure you can think of more examples. So basically, we know and we've historically been documenting and have in our conscious where a tree is supposed to flower and fruit. So if there's any change, then it will be very easy to perceive that change. So what needs to be done is just documenting that in a systematic manner, so that we can use it to make a robust study and a case for how climate change is impacting our trees. Yeah. So the question to ask is, all of these trees change throughout the year, and we know when the trees are supposed to do what. But are the trees following the schedule? Do you think they're doing what they historically should have been doing? And do they bloom or give fruits at the right time during the year when you're supposed to use those for a festival? What do you think? Yes or no? Yes, no? Have you noticed any change recently? Or even comparing it to your childhood? Um, Heyman says yes. Kala also says that, but changes are happening. That's true. So the trees, as they used to behave in our childhood, for example, may not be doing the same things now in 2026 or 2025, right? So, and that's precisely what we are concerned about, and we can keep our eyes on the trees to understand. So, to document these changes that we may be perceiving and noting subconsciously, Season Watch project was started, and it's a citizen science project, which means anybody across India can participate of any age group, any association with school, college, or organization. And it is mainly a climate change study. So, what we're trying to do or answer questions from the tree study is to understand how climate change is impacting our trees. And sorry, this is a mistake. We recently added one more species. So we have 172 tree species now that can be monitored. And we have added a set list of trees so that our efforts can be channelized toward these species, and we don't have to look at absolutely everything around us. And these are the trees that we are sure about identification of. It has common trees like mango, chiku, jackfruit, tamarind, and all these trees that are very innate part of our lives and our surroundings as well. So that naturally includes some exotic species as well, some invasive species as well, because they're very widely found, especially in the cities and urban places. So you can choose from any of these trees, any of these species around you, and start observing them. And what do you observe is basically the stages of leaves, flowers, and fruits that we discussed earlier. You can make weekly or one time observation. Weekly observation is ideal because we want to see how a tree is behaving for a year, and then year after that we can see if it's following the same pattern. If there's any oddity in its behavior, then we can try to understand what in the weather was weird that year and why this change happened. So weekly observation is very much preferred. But if you're traveling someplace and you observe some tree there and you want to make an observation, you can also make a one-time observation. And both of these are very, very simple. It takes less than 5 minutes of your time to completely go from you looking at a tree to the observation going into the database. And this database, or the data that is coming from different people across India, is going to build baseline of tree seasonality and also record any change in these baselines, because we don't have any data in a scientific manner that tells us when trees are supposed to do what. So we'll also build a baseline and also understand deviations from this baseline. And while we do all of these scientific studies and observation, we're of course building a connection with trees too. If you visit a tree every week, it's of course going to be your friend, and you're going to have an emotional connection with that tree. So that also is very much uh, an agenda or an aim of this project. So, to re-emphasize that the stages that we observe on the trees are fresh leaves, mature leaves, dry leaves, which are found in all the species on the list. Then, in flowers, we observe buds and open flowers, which may not be seen in some of the species. For example, ficus, we have five kinds of figs on the list, and figs don't have open flowers. We can't really tell when the tree is flowering, when a fig tree is flowering. So, we do not have to observe flowers in a fixed species. And in fruits, we have unripe fruits, ripe fruits, and in some cases, open fruits. So, based on what species you select for observation, these stages will be displayed on the screen, and you don't have to worry about whether this is present or not. Yeah. And now, when I look at a tree, and when, say, Anjali is looking at a tree, we may disagree or we may give different observations on how much a stage is present on that tree. So to make it uniform and to ensure that the same kind of data is coming from everyone who's participating in the project, we have followed this one third method where the tree is divided in three parts. You don't have to imagine this circle. It's just a canopy that I'm trying to sum into this circle. But the tree canopy is divided in three parts, like this Mercedes or Peace logo, or it can also be a Y, depending on the shape of the canopy. And then we count one, two, three, or zero, zero, one, two, three. So we see in how many of the three parts are these stages present. We start with the leaves and we end with either ripe fruit or open fruit, as we will see ahead in the presentation. So starting with the fresh leaves, I'll say in how many of these three parts are fresh leaves present on my tree. If I don't see any fresh leaves on the tree, then I put my observation as none, which is absent. If I see fresh leaves only here, or only here, or here, or only here, in any one of the three parts, then my observation comes to be few. And if I see there are new leaves here and here, or here and here, or in all three parts, then I put my observation as many. So it's as simple as that. It's zero or one or two or three. In how many of the three parts of the canopy is my stage present? That is the data and that is the observation that we have to make. And this is what the data looks like. It's of course uploaded by people, so it's open for people to look at and play with and visualize. So this is a data on neem trees. I was curious about what's happening with the neem, and Gudi Padwa for me, it has come into March or March end and April every year. So I wanted to see if Gudi Padwa has new leaves and flowers during the season. And it turns out that every peak that has been seen from the data in the past 6 years has fallen actually in April and not March. So there's a delay in when the neem trees have new leaves and flowers. Of course, it's not for all trees because we see a lot of variation into that. But most trees, like 49% of the trees observed in 2025, they had flowers only during April, the month of April. So this is the kind of understanding we can build from the data that is uploaded by you or anybody who's season watching the trees. And another question that we have is, yes, climate change is affecting a lot of weather parameters, and it is wreaking havoc on temperature, on rainfall, on how the solar radiation reaches the earth, how much gap there is between two rainfall, etc. So there are many factors that are getting affected, but which of these factors are crucial for a tree to produce flowers and fruits and even retain those flowers that turn into fruits or retain the fruits that turn into ripe fruits? Because both of these stages are very crucial, especially commercially for us. So because Kerala has been a very consistent and voracious season watcher since the beginning of the project in 2010, we chose to do this sort of experimental study on understanding which weather parameters and geographic factors which are fixed, but they also affect when or how a tree will flower and fruit. We saw the interactions between these two factors and saw which tree gives most importance to what factor or interrelation of what factor. So just to show you an example from our website page, we're looking at jackfruits fruiting, and I want to see what is the impact of rainfall on these fruits. Yeah. And with rainfall, we found out that elevation is a factor that is very important for jackfruit to produce fruit and retain it as well. And here we see that when there's a lot of fruiting, the rainfall is lesser. So that means there's an inverse relation between rainfall. If it rains when the tree is supposed to fruit, then it may not fruit. That's the conclusion that we can draw from this data. And this red dot, it moves. It's a static, it's a dynamic page. So you can just go to the explore section of our website, go to patterns and go to Kerala data and play with these fields that are present here, and you can find out what's happening. And this is only from Kerala for three species of trees, but we want to find this information out about all the 172 tree species that we have and across India and different states of India. So when we have more data, we'll be able to do that. And that's of course why we're all making so much effort. So how do you upload the data? What do you do when you have a tree and you want to observe it? We have an Android application which is very small size, free of cost. There are no ads in it, nothing. So you can download that. And let me also tell you that some exciting updates to the app are going to come in April, which includes that right now you can't upload a photo of your tree, but in April, after April, you'll be able to upload a photo. It'll also tell you if you've identified your tree right, and you'll also be able to put an observation of the phases that you're observing on the tree. So that's going to be very beneficial for people also to verify the tree that they're observing, and for us also to see the data has been uploaded correctly. So please try out the app now, and once the update comes, you can try that new feature as well. If you by chance use an iOS iPhone, you can use the website directly and log in, and both of them work very, very similarly. Same kind of data would be uploaded in both places. But we're also trying to get an iOS app soon, so I hope that also happens sometime this year. But app and the website are the two options that we have, and this is how the app looks. First step is to register. If you're a new user, if you don't have an account, you can just put your name, email address, put a password of your choice, select the state that you primarily reside in, and whether you're an individual or school or college, and you can make an account for yourself. And all of the data that you upload will be in your account, which you can readily log into the website and download and look at if you want to. And we also have a feature where we ask if your observation um, can be used for research, and anybody in the world, it will be an open source data, so anybody in the world can use it. And if you also want your name to be associated with the data that you use, so you can give your permissions here, put your preference here, and register. And once that happens, then you can make two kinds of observation. One is regular observation that is lodged every week, like we mentioned earlier, and how that goes in the app is what I'm going to show you. So once you log into the app, once you have your website, email ID, name, password, everything put in, you log into the account using those credentials, and you see two options on the top. One is regular and one is casual. These are the two types of observations that we can make. So for regular observation, we go to the regular section, which is by default open on your app, and you tap on this button to open the list of all the species that there are. Then you can choose, you can just scroll down and choose your species, or you can type in the name. This website has, the app has English common name and scientific name, so you can use either of those to find your tree. And if you want to see what the tree is called in your language, you can also tap on this I button. And we've tried to include as many languages and the names in those languages as we can. But we may have missed a few. But if you know the name, you can write to us if the language is missing, and we'll make sure to add that information to the species. So once you select the species, you tap on this blue button and go ahead in the observation. Now, we also noticed how the phases and how trees behave is going to change based on the location. So we're going to have the name of the species we're observing, the location, and also the date of observation. So here we are noting the location. So this map opens, which works exactly like Google Maps, and your current location will be seen here. And you tap on this button to zoom into the map, and it will come to exactly where you're standing close to your tree. So this is supposed to be tree's location. So when you put location, make sure that you're as close to the tree as possible, and you double tap on this blue dot, which is the current location, and then this pin is put. And then you tap on the next button to go ahead, and your location will be saved. Then you see that the tree can be given a nickname, and this serves two purposes. One is if I have multiple Pride of India trees in my area, and all of them will be seen here as Pride of India, Pride of India, Pride of India, Pride of India. And when I make an observation, I wouldn't know where which tree is what. So to avoid that confusion, I give nickname to each individual tree. And it has also served to form a very close bond with the tree. Many children across Kerala, when they have season watched their trees, they've given their own nicknames to the trees, and the nicknames have like a lot of story and history, etc. So it has become a way of connecting with that tree. So you first put a nickname. You can be as creative about it as possible, and then you choose the location, kind or type that the tree falls under, whether it's in a garden or a park or roadside or forest or a campus of a school or college or university. Then you can add some notes if you have anything to say about the tree. Then you note the height and girth. So the nickname, location type, height and girth. are the most important parameters to include. This ensures height and girth, especially that the tree is old enough to be flowering and fruiting. We only want to look at older trees which actively flower and fruit every year, so that we don't end up watching small saplings which don't show these seasonal transitions. Yeah. So you're only looking at adult trees, and the height and girth ensures that the tree is old enough and big enough to be producing flowers and fruits. So both of these are approximate, of course. And how do you note the height? Is there are two ways that I'd like to follow. If the tree is close to a building, then you can just see what story of the building, what floor of the building the tree reaches, and approximately put the height in meters. If you know that in feet, then you just convert it into meters and upload it here. And if for the and another way is I'm about 5 feet tall. So imagine how many of me would have to stand on one top of another to reach the height of the tree, and then convert that into the height into meters to reach, like, to get the height of the tree. And then for tree girth, the ideal way is, of course, to use a measuring tape or a rope and then measure that later. But if you don't have any of these, you can just go around the tree with this distance. Just measure it with your fingers and then approximately put the girth in centimeters. And for me, this distance is about 15 centimeter. So it's a very easy calculation. And that's how you go about it. You can also put, so if you scroll down, you see condition, which means if a tree is healthy or diseased or cut, or if it's given water and fertilizers regularly, etc. So such information can also be added. You can verify all this information and submit. And once you submit, the tree becomes an account of its own in your account. So every time you make an observation, every new observation that is made on the tree, you just have to tap on this blue eye and make the note of the stages of leaves, flowers, and fruits on that tree, and do the same in the next week. There's some things you remember when making regular observation. One is you make only one observation per week, which comes to four observations or five observations in a month. But even if you make two observations in a month, that is still good enough data for us to understand what your tree is doing. Yeah. Secondly, we have to make the observation on the same day of the week so that the observation is taken at a uniform distance from each other. So, for example, if you select a Sunday for making your observation, the next observation will be on on the next Sunday or the Sunday after that. Yeah, so Sunday is your day of season watching your trees. And same time of the day is also preferred, so that there's also that uniformity, because some trees tend to bloom at night, some of them, the flowers fall off during the day, and so on. So to maintain that there's no disparity in how you look at the trees, same time of the day is also preferred. You can go early in the morning or in the evening, whatever is preferred, but keep that uniform. Then trees are also 3D entities, so you can go anywhere around the tree and make an observation, but that will still make a lot of difference in every observation that you make. So to make it as uniform as possible, all the data that we collect, we stand at the same spot. For example, if this camera is my tree, and I will be standing in front of it at this exact spot every time I make an observation. Yeah. Then registered tree information, like you see here, it cannot be deleted, but it can be edited. If you thought the species is wrong, if you want to give it a new nickname, you can log into the website, into your account, and change whatever you want to change about that tree. And lastly, the observations are scientifically important, viable, usable, so they cannot be deleted. Yeah. Then the next kind of observation we can make is a one-time observation, and the process is more or less the same, but we don't make an account for that tree. We don't register that tree like we did for a regular observation. So what you do is you swipe left to go to this casual section on your dashboard. Then you tap on this button to get the list of species like we did before. You select the species, you put the observation, the location of the tree, and then you make an observation. And in the new app that we use now, the date automatically comes. But if you made an observation some time ago and you want to upload that later, you can backdate that observation also. Once you tap on this, you see the whole calendar, and you can select the date accordingly. Then you put the data on the leaves, flowers, and fruits like we saw before. Then something to remember about casual observation is ideally the tree should be observed just once, but that may not happen, and that's okay. The tree observation cannot be edited like we can for the regular observation, but it can be deleted, and you can make another observation or choose not to submit that observation to the database at all. Yeah. Are there any questions? Just putting this here again to give a revision of how we're observing. We're observing these stages on the tree, and how we put the observation is in terms of none, few, many, which is the number of sections in the canopy where the stage is present. If it's absent, we put none. If it's in one part of the canopy, we put the observation as few. If it's in all three parts or two parts of the canopy, we put the observation as many. Okay, I'm going to give a moment for questions. Does this make sense? We can give more time for the questions in the end as well. Just let's try to make an observation on this red silk cotton. So I am standing near the red silk cotton at this location, from a place where I can see the whole canopy from the base to the top of the tree. I have logged into my app. I have chosen to make a casual observation. You can also make a regular observation. The date has been entered. Species has been selected. Location has been put, the date has been selected, and now we've reached the observation page. Yeah. So now we will divide the tree in three parts. I'm sorry, that got missed, but these are the three parts of the tree, or it can also be like this. Maybe we can choose a Y. Yeah, so this is one part of the canopy, this is the second part of the canopy, and this is the third part of the canopy. So now we're going to look for leaves first and see in how many of the three parts can I find fresh leaves, mature leaves, and dying leaves. What would the observation be for this tree? Let's start with fresh leaves. What would we put? Do we say none? Do we say few? Or do we say many? You can put it in the chat box, or you can also unmute and answer. I'm just going to put on the light. It'll be very helpful if you also put your answers, participate in the discussion. Ashish thinks few. Do you see leaves on the tree right now?
It's a very small image, so not very apparent at least, but there may
Yeah,
be tiny leaves may be there. I don't know.
yeah. But
Usually
if
there are no leaves.
yeah, if it was if there were any leaves, we would surely see them because it's a clear enough image. Even if it's tiny, we would see some green or yellow somewhere, right?
Right.
Yeah. And another thing, if we have observed red silk cotton, do we see leaves when the tree blooms?
No.
हेमंत, अगर आपको कोई सवाल है, कोई चीज समझ नहीं आ रही तो हम बाद में बात कर सकते हैं. आई थिंक मेजोरिटी पीपल फॉलो इंग्लिश, सो आई थिंक आई कीप टू दैट. बट आई बी वेरी हैप्पी टू टॉक टू यू इंडिविजुअली लेटर. हम बाद में बात कर सकते हैं. अब अगर कुछ समझ में नहीं आ रहा है तो आप प्लीज मुझे मैसेज कीजिएगा. हम कॉल पे भी बात कर सकते हैं. सॉरी. Okay, so on top, I at least can't see in this image. Of course, image is not the most ideal way of season watching trees. And when we look at them in person, it's much clearer. But for now, going by theory, I'm going to choose that there are no fresh leaves, no mature leaves, and no dying leaves. So basically, the tree is leafless at the moment. Then we go to look at flowers. There might be some tiny buds somewhere. Like here, I see some buds. And here is one bird as well. So you can look at the tree as carefully as possible. And because I see birds in two parts, I would make the observation accordingly. And for the flowers, we can say that they're present in all three parts of the canopy, right? So the observation for both birds and flowers, open flowers, would be many. Then we go to look at fruits. Do we see any fruits on the canopy?
No. I don't see any.
Right. So for the fruits also, we put the observation as none. There are no fruits right now on the tree. So there are no unripe fruits, no ripe fruits, and no open fruits. Yeah. Now, of course, we're looking at the stages of leaves, flowers, and fruits, but many trees also attract a lot of birds, caterpillars, butterflies, bees, squirrels, and many other organisms. So we also have a field to note that, and we can choose what we see while we are making an observation. If we see bees and birds, we can tick on those. If you see leaves that are eaten by caterpillars or they're eaten up, then you can also tick caterpillars. And you can also make observations in the notes sections. You just tap here and this opens up, and then you make whatever observation. This is just an example. I don't see any of that in this photo, of course, but this is what the observation can look like when you add them in the notes. And then you tap on save to put the data onto the database. Now, of course, the question of how do I identify a tree that I'm looking at if I don't know what tree it is? We have this Common Trees of India Pocket Guide. It's a folded, single, very small, actually pocket-sized document, and it's also available in a chart form. Both of these can be downloaded from our website for free, or I'll also put links in the chat box or in an email I'll send to you later, and you can get these for your tree walks or for your personal use or even for gifting to children and people who want to look at trees together. And they're also translated into various Indian languages, which are freely available in print also for educators, especially. So I'll send a link to that as well. And we also have a digital phenophase guide, phenology guide, where we have photos of all 172 tree species and what each of the stage of leaves, flowers, and fruits look like on these trees. So it's also easy to download from our website in the resource page, and you can just get this on your phone and use it when you look at a tree to sort of make sure that you're looking or identifying the stage right. And it'll also be incorporated into the app, and it'll tell you what the phenoface should look like. So even I'm very excited for this upgrade. So it'll soon be becoming very very easy to understand trees and observe them and put these observations in the Season Watch app. Then finally, coming to the March Tree Festival. Now, the tree festival is about observation of trees. So, how you observe trees is what we just discussed. You do it through the website or through the Android application. Or we also have some observation sheets that you can download from the resource page or write to us and we can send you some. And there are these physical papers, printed sheets that you can just color and use to sort of document your observation, which you can digitize later on whenever needed. So, especially if you're doing this with school children and you don't want them to use phone while they're looking at nature, at trees, then you can use this data sheet to use nice color pencils to make the observation and digitize it later with them or with older children or by yourself. So the tree festival, the purpose is to take a snapshot of the 10 days of tree activity, and it is done thrice a year at the peak of a season or beginning or end of a season. So we do one in March end, one in August end, and one in November end. So they sort of encompass in between seasons or peak of monsoon, peak of summer, etc. And this is basically to get people excited about observing trees, to let them know about season watch. And there's also a lot of activities and events that happen during this festival, during the 10 days of the festival, which includes tree walks, webinars, workshops, tree appreciation events that I'll just show you an example of. And it is also a way of getting a reward for observing trees. So highest observers, people who make the most number of observations, they get a prize and they're declared the winners of the festival. And this is the anatomy of the tree festival. This one is a spring or summer festival happening for 10 days in March, starting on 20th and ending on 29th March. It has three challenges that you can complete to win the prizes. There are 172 species that you can observe, and if you make more than 100 observations in 10 days, then you are the winner. Make as many observations as possible. That's the whole point. Then there are two festival specific challenges which keep changing for every tree festival. This 100 not out stays the same for all three festivals. We have Scarlet Summer, which focuses on these five species of trees which have red or orange flowers, and there's a leaf flush challenge to observe the trees of these eight species and make as many observations again as possible. And when you complete these challenges, we look at the data in after the tree festival, and then we announce the winners and also write a report about what the data is telling us about the status of trees across India. And to just show an example, there are all of these events and more that are happening during the tree festival. Gaurav is conducting a tree walk in Mumbai. There's a tree poem and story reading circle in Delhi. There are more tree walks. There's a very interesting event happening in Bangalore, which is called Ved Puran, about the mythologies of the trees found at Lal Bagh Botanical Garden. And then there are some other tree walks, and nature journaling also is being done by Sefi, who's a very beautiful artist, and all of these are her illustrations. And she's going to talk about journaling as a means of documenting and observing trees. Yeah. So if you're interested in doing this, I will. You can reach out to me, and we can. Some of them have Season Watch logo, some of them don't. So it can be in collaboration with Season Watch. You can put a logo if it's a free walk, or you can write associated or supported by Season Watch if it's a paid walk. And this is also one way of getting people excited about trees, which is the purpose of the tree festival. Yeah. Um, so just how to participate, log in as usual or make a new account if you're new to Season Watch. Make as many observations as you can, focus on some of the challenges or all of the challenges of the tree festival, and wait for the results to be announced in a month after the tree festival. And the observers with most observations are winners. Usually people from Kerala are winners, but I hope somebody from some other state beats them this time. Let's see what happens. I'm very excited to see the results of the tree festival already. And the winners are announced from individual category and school and college categories, and both of them are given prizes for each challenge. So the prizes include certificates and merchandise and books and whatever is about trees. I'm sure you'll enjoy these prizes that we very thoughtfully choose to give to people. And we also give certificates to people who conduct events. So if you'd like to earn a certificate, please consider either participating or conducting an event during the tree festival. And yeah, that's all about Season Watch and how to participate in the tree festival. I hope it was helpful. Um, I'm just quickly going to go through the questions. हेमंत आपने पूछा है, आई होप आप अभी मीटिंग में हैं। आपने पूछा कि कितने प्लांट वॉचिंग कर सकते हैं। आप जितने चाहो कर सकते हैं रेगुलर। जब हम प्लांट रजिस्टर करते हैं रेगुलर, अगर आपको ऑब्जर्वेशन करना है तो ये अच्छा रहेगा कि आप एक पेड़ से चालू करें, क्योंकि इसको हर वीक ऑब्जर्व कर रहे हैं हम। तो ज्यादा बहुत करेंगे तो लगेगा कि बहुत ही काम हो रहा है हर हफ्ते। तो एक या 5-6 प्लांट्स के साथ आप शुरुआत कर सकते हैं, ट्रीज के साथ शुरुआत कर सकते हैं। और जब आपको लगे कि मैं ये आसानी से कर सकता हूँ और बहुत सारे पेड़ देख सकता हूँ, तो आप ज्यादा रेगुलर ट्रीज ऐड कर सकते हैं। पर कैजुअल ऑब्जर्वेशन तो सिर्फ एक बार होता है, तो आप उसके कितने भी चाहो उतने प्लांट्स ऑब्जर्व कर सकते हो। अगर इंडिया में कहीं भी घूमने जा रहे हैं, किसी ट्रिप पे जा रहे हैं, तो आप वहां से भी कैजुअल ऑब्जर्वेशंस कर सकते हो।
मैडम,
थैंक यू।
प्रश्न ये है
हाँ।
मैडम है कि ऐसे एक स्पीसीज है,
हाँ।
तो उसको केवल सिंगल बार करना, एक बार करना, उसका दूसरा नहीं
नहीं
करना।
नहीं, जैसे आप अगर आम का पेड़ ऑब्जर्व कर रहे हैं तो आप कितने भी आम के पेड़ ऑब्जर्व कर सकते हो। ऐसा कोई लिमिट नहीं है उस पे।
जी,
ठीक है।
कुछ हिंदी में कुछ मिल जाएगा पीडीएफ, इसको मैं हिंदी कर सकता हूँ उसकी, कोई
ये
पीडीएफ है?
पीडीएफ तो हिंदी में नहीं है, पर हमारे पास हिंदी रिसोर्सेस है, जैसे ये पॉकेट गाइड जो मैंने आपको दिखाया था।
हाँ हाँ।
ये पेड़ों 35 पेड़ों के नाम और चित्र है उसमें। वो आपको हिंदी में मिल जाएगा।
ओके।
ठीक है, मैं आपको लिंक भेजती हूँ उसकी। आप जब डिटेल्स देंगे तो हम आपको कुरियर कर देंगे।
जी।
ठीक है, थैंक यू सो मच। थैंक यू जॉय फॉर ट्रांसलेटिंग एंड ब्रिंगिंग माई अटेंशन टू द क्वेश्चन इन दैट मैसेज।
Sai,
यस।
is it even during the tree festival, the same frequency applies? One tree should be observed once a week?
Yes, if it's a registered tree for regular observation, then you can make only two maximum observations during the tree festival. And that's why
Okay,
people choose to observe the regular trees plus make a lot of casual observations. So both are counted during the tree festival.
okay.
Yeah, thank you.
So you do what you're normally doing, just keep at it
Yes.
through
So
those 10 days.
yeah, for example, during the tree festivals, I decide to explore other nearby areas, all the lanes near my house, and I go and
Okay,
make casual observations near that, in addition to adding data on my regular trees as well. So it's
okay,
like a quest that you go on, that you just look at all possible trees in your neighborhood, around your
okay,
school or home or office, and add observations on those.
okay.
Yeah, I really hope to do this at Chirag School. We'll plan something. We're just
So,
limited by the funds for the travel, but if we can figure
uh,
something out, we can do that.
I think we'll help you with that. So tell me, if children do it at school,
Hmm.
we just register as Chirag School and add each child separately, or?
So you can make an account in the name of Chirag School, and
Uh-huh.
if every child is using the mobile app to upload this data, then you can give the same ID and password to each child. Or alternately, I'll just sorry, bring this observation sheet. We have these observation sheets. So one
Right,
sheet, we call it accordion sheet because it opens like this.
right.
And one sheet can be used for one tree for one whole year. So each child can be assigned one tree and given this one
Okay.
sheet, and they can
Okay.
make their observation into this. How to fill this sheet is written here on the first page. So they just go
Okay.
and make fill these boxes basically as per the
Uh,
observations.
this would be very helpful. And then we
Yeah.
enter it into the Chirag School account.
Yes, that's right.
And the child's name is not important in that. It's just
Uh,
Chirag School.
Yeah, there is a name for the children who are monitoring the trees. So you can
Okay.
write the name and the tree name, etc., on this sheet. And
Uh-huh.
then you can keep a track like that. But when the data goes, the child's name doesn't necessarily go with it unless you give the nickname of the child to the tree. That's one way of noting which tree is of which
Okay.
child.
Mhm. And these accordion sheets we can download, you're saying, from
We
the.
can courier these to you. So I'll send you. Actually, we don't have many resources that are printed right now, but in April we're going to have a lot of bulk products, and we're going to put out a giveaway call. So you can just please stay in touch, and we can send the link to you and courier all of these resources to you then.
Okay. But since this is happening now,
Hmm.
this tree festival,
Yeah, yeah.
so
We can arrange for the sheets to reach to you. I'll just
thank
message you
you.
after this. Yeah.
Thank you. At least maybe for a couple of classes, we just have 15 kids in a class.
Hmm.
So if you send us 30 or 40 of them, that's great.
Yeah, yeah. Sure, we can do that. Just make a note of this.
Okay. Thank you. Things do take time to reach us, but
Yeah.
I'll send you my
Yeah.
address for courier. Yeah.
Yes, sure. would you be sharing details of these walks? Yes. So we are sending relevant posters to relevant groups. You might know that we have state-wise WhatsApp groups. So we're sending these. They're all happening after this coming weekend, actually. So I'll start putting them in the group. And these are also available on the WhatsApp, on the Instagram page, Facebook page, and everywhere else that we have presence. So you can also keep an eye on these accounts, please. And you'll get a detailed information about the walks happening near you. Thank you for that question. What is the easy and best way to identify a tree when I'm standing under one? Using Pocket Guide? Using Pocket Guide is definitely one, but it is limited by the number of names and illustrations it has. There are only 35, out of which 8 are Himalayan species, so they're not found across India. But there's another app called iNaturalist where you can upload a photo, and then the app tells you what tree it might be. Another option is, of course, joining one of these WhatsApp groups and putting your photo there, and then people would help you identify the tree. These are some of the ways that we know. And there are a lot of books also, actually. I don't know how I
Thank
missed.
you.
Sorry, yes.
Because I have been using apps to identify birds and
Yeah.
plants, but
Uh-huh.
haven't used any for trees yet. So that's why I popped this question.
Right, right. iNaturalist is
Yeah, a
helpful.
lot of times I just stand before one and I don't know what tree that is, right? So how do
Yeah.
I log in the data
Yes.
into Season Watch
Yeah.
if I can't identify it? So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, that's
thank you.
understandable. But the groups have been very helpful. People have learned a lot of information, shared a lot of information and identifications of plants. So, are you a part of Maharashtra group already, Kala?
I think so, but I'm in the process of moving to Bangalore. So I'm here and there. I keep
Okay.
going in, I'm in Pune as well as in Bangalore for now.
Okay, no
So
problem.
put me in any one group, na,
Yeah.
then I'll
Would you?
really appreciate that. I think I'm going to be in Bangalore more. So
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Would you drop me a message on this number, please? And I can send
Sure,
you the links that
sure.
you require.
Yeah, I will, I will. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Joy, yes, that's right. You can say Chirag, and but there will be multiple children using that account, so we can't put the name in the name of the school when we make an account. But like I mentioned, we can assign trees to different children and name the tree after the child that is observing the tree. I hope that helps. Can we register college in season watch? Yes, absolutely. In fact, we have a campus phenology network, and a lot of colleges have joined that network, and we have college accounts as well. So, just showing you some of those options. Sorry, we'll have to just run back. And here you can see that there are multiple categories you can register under, which includes individuals, so just one person using one account, college, which means multiple students from a single college, and school from like we discussed for Anjali and Chirag school. And Mathrubhumi Seed is a program in Kerala, so this is specifically a section for them to register under. But you can definitely make an account for college, share the same email ID and password with anybody who wants to do this, and um, include everyone in the under that account and make observations. Thank you. Hamza, thank you. Thank you for joining. It's very sweet. Please share to the link to Mumbai or Maharashtra. Yes, yes, for sure. I'll stop. Maybe I'll keep this one. To the contact page, and then I'll just share the Maharashtra group link. Just give me a minute. I'll also put a link to the Karnataka group in the chat since we discussed this for Bangalore. Mriganka, I'm just pasting it here. This is the Maharashtra group, and this one is the Karnataka group.
Is there an Uttarakhand group?
Yes, but it's painfully inactive at the moment.
Maybe Chirag School can change that.
Yeah, I really hope so. I'll put a link to that as well.
Okay.
Kala is a Karnataka group, and also people from
Thank
other
you.
parts of Karnataka. Yeah. I'll also share for Uttarakhand, for Sindhu and Anjali, and whoever
Yeah.
that person wants to join. This has people from the Nature Science Initiative, if you know of that group. That is the group we started this WhatsApp thing with, but we have other people as well. But just the group is very inactive. So if you could just share your tree observations, questions, and make it active somehow, that'll be great. And I keep posting things like quizzes, questions about trees once in a while. But of course, the group is driven by people and members in the group themselves. So it's up to you actually to keep it going.
Mhm.
And do you have a question, Anjali?
No, no, no.
Okay.
Just copying the link quickly before I lose.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
You can, of course, always reach out to me if you need any links, any help with anything.
Oh, yeah, sure. We are connected.
Yes, that's
I've
right.
sent you the address to courier the season watch observation sheets.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's great. Thank you. हेमंत आपके लिए मध्य प्रदेश ग्रुप भी शेयर करती हूँ एक मिनट. थैंक यू आपने ज्वाइन किया और सॉरी मैं हिंदी में कोई इन्फॉर्मेशन नहीं बता पाई आज पर आपने सवाल भी पूछे सो मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा कि आप फिर भी इंटरेक्ट कर रहे थे. थैंक यू सो मच. ये रहा मध्य प्रदेश के लिए. और अगर आप ये लिंक किसी और के साथ भी शेयर करना चाहते हैं, इफ यू वांट टू ऐड मोर पीपल टू द ग्रुप प्लीज आप ये लिंक भेज सकते हैं आपके कॉन्टैक्ट्स में और लोगों को भी इंक्लूड कर सकते हैं ग्रुप में.
Very
It's a
nice.
completely open group for everyone, anyone who's interested in plants and trees. Observing with notebooks or mobile without ID confirmation, just make a note of particular tree of interest and take a few pictures on mobile during the event and upload back later. Yeah, thank you, Karo. That's a very helpful suggestion. How to change registration information. That's very nice. Maybe I'll show you this on the website itself. Give me a minute, Sindhu. Thank you for the question. Uh, Both our app and website are made on a very tight budget, and sometimes they don't behave in the most ideal manners. So I'm forewarning you and like requesting some patience with our tech. We're trying to make it as better and as user friendly as possible, but it sometimes definitely misbehaves, especially during the tree festivals when a lot of people are using it at the same time. It may glitch a little bit, but give it some time, make the observations in a note or in a notebook and put them up later. If there's a lot of issue, you can reach out to us and we can definitely try to resolve them as soon as we can. But it might happen. Okay, I'm sharing my screen to the website to just show how the information can be changed. So this is my account and all the trees that I have uploaded. Now this side is regular trees. You can swipe ahead to see all the list that you have. And if you tap on the tree, you will see this pencil that will allow you to look at all the information about it and edit it as well. So first stage is the species. If the species is okay, or if you want to change the species also, you can do that. And it'll take some time, but here you can see the name, huh? Name has changed and the scientific name has changed and all the information has changed. So you tap on this ahead arrow, the green arrow, to, you know,
Sai, can
yeah.
I ask you, if there are trees on campus that are not part of the species on season watch,
Hmm.
is that okay that we observe those also and enter?
Yeah, so you can do that. This sheet doesn't have a limitation on what species you can put. So you can choose whatever species you want to monitor. And I think in Uttarakhand we don't have a lot of species, so I think it will happen that you would want to monitor other trees too. But the data won't be digitized on the website because here we only can select from the 172 species that there are. But if it's a very, very common tree across Uttarakhand and you think it should be on the list, then please reach out to us and we can consider doing that. Although we're not keen on adding a lot of species to the list.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Sindhu, I hope you can see that you can, change the location and species as well, and you can like move it around and double tap to change the location. And once you tap on this, then you go ahead. You can change other details as well. For example, if it's a campus tree, not a roadside tree. And then here is the height and girth that you can change. And once you tap on save, all the information is changed on the website. Um, Anjali, Sindhu is asking if you are from Uttarakhand and maybe you would like to
Yeah,
connect with each
I
other.
have sent her a private message to which I haven't got a reply. I've
Oh,
asked her, hi Sindhu, where are you located?
okay, cool. Sindhu, please take a look at that message and I hope you can connect and do things together.
Yeah.
Kamudi, what a lovely name. Thank you for the session. Thank you so much for joining. I really had fun. And thank you for the questions you've been asking. Oh, and of course, very importantly, all the information that I shared on how to use the app is available in very simple tutorial videos that we have. And I'll just put a link to that. It's a nice playlist on YouTube, less than a minute long videos. Um, that I'll put here. This is on using Season Watch app. But we also have a little older videos, tutorials on using the website as well. So you can find all of this on our YouTube channel. हमारे YouTube channel पे ऐप को कैसे इस्तेमाल करना है उसके videos है. उस पे कोई भाषा नहीं है तो आप उसको देख सकते हैं, फॉलो कर सकते हैं. और अगर कोई आपको फिर भी सवाल है, कुछ नहीं समझ आ रहा, कुछ ऐप में गड़बड़ हो रही है, तो आप प्लीज मुझे मैसेज कीजिएगा एंड आई ट्राई टू, मैं कोशिश करूंगी कि आपकी क्वेरीज रिजॉल्व करने की.
Sai,
Yes.
this app, it can only be downloaded on a mobile, I suppose, right? Not on the
Yes.
laptop.
No, not on the laptop. For laptop, you can use this website that I'm displaying. So,
Okay.
yeah, since we're here, I'm logged into my account, but here are the other ways you can explore. So, here, if you want to look at what events we're conducting, we also do some online workshops on identifying plants. So, you can see them in the events. In patterns, you can see those graphs that I was showing and the Kerala data that I was talking about.
Hmm.
And here in the species page, you can see all 172 tree species and their descriptions. So here is the Kerala data to explore. I'll just show you an example. So here, if you can select the species, you can select what year you want to look at its behavior in. We're going to also put a consolidated, like a summary of all these years of data that will happen soon, hopefully. I want to see the flowers of tamarind and what is the effect of soil moisture, for example. And this aspect automatically comes up. Aspect is the direction of the slope where the tree is located. And when I submit, then I get a graph here. So there'll be these locations from where the data is uploaded, and this is how um, this is the week of the year and what is happening, what are the proportion of trees that are flowering, and this is the soil moisture and how it has changed through the year in 2021, and what is the correlation between the two. So the peak, um, I don't know how to interpret this. Maybe we can try something different. So
Mhm.
basically, you can. Do you have anything to add, Anjali?
No, it's just
Yeah.
amused. Yeah.
I have observed that tamarind flowers start blooming after the first shower. This I've seen in Mumbai and Pune. So I want
Wow.
to see what is the correlation between rainfall of the year and flowering. So we see that as the rainfall peaks, the flowers increase, which means rainfall is beneficial, or rainy is the season when tamarind trees bloom. So in Kerala, at least. So if we have more data from Maharashtra, we can verify this information for Maharashtra as well and other parts of the country. Yeah, this is how you basically explore the data. And we also have a fun thing to try out. There's a game that we developed with a student of Srishti School of Design, and it's called Tree Trails, which is basically a subsidy or a snake and ladder game for trees. And the snakes are the factors of the environment of a tree that harm them, and ladders are the environmental factors that help them reach flowering and fruiting. So this is a game that you can play on. This is how you, this is a tutorial. So you click on a dice, it rolls. These are the trees. One is your tree, one is computer's tree, and you're supposed to reach this number to finish. Basically, how snake and ladder work. And once you roll the dice, your tree moves, and the computer's tree moves. And you keep doing that. And the red ones are harmful factors in the tree's environment, and green ones are beneficial factors in the tree's environment.
So what the one would play solo this game, just
Yes,
play on your own. Okay.
yeah. So it has reached a block where there's a green factor that says perfect age. A tree needs to be of a certain age before it can start flowering and fruiting. And I can move 3 spaces ahead. So when I go to the green ones, I develop, I flourish, I go ahead in the game. And when I go to the red ones, I go back. So this is a very fun way of learning what factors help the tree produce flowers and fruits and what factors are harmful and inhibit the production of flowers and fruits. So you can maybe try this out as well. How to change personal information, because when I registered, I was in Maharashtra. Now I'm Uttarakhand, so I want to update. Thanks for that question, Sindhu. I don't think that can be changed, but it's okay. You can make observations from anywhere in India, and the location of the trees that you monitor will be added in every tree that you monitor. So you don't need to change the state where that you put in your account. You can just go on making observations. I hope that helps. Thanks, Mriganka. I think you've already left. In Dehradun, it rained. Does it affect flowering in trees because mango fruiting is affected due to rain? That's true, Sindhu. And there are many anecdotes and theories that people have about how flowers are affected. But there's also this historical sort of information where um, the mango trees start blooming in early summer. Then there's one rainfall that happens, which is called spring showers in many parts of the country. And that leads to falling of some of the flowers. Then the tree blooms again and those flowers then turn into fruit. So that happens in some of the trees. And until we have a long-term data on multiple trees, we can't say for sure what is the uh, exact effect of rainfall on mango trees. Kala, thank you. Thank you for joining. I think you've left now too. Thank you, Ashish. I'm glad you like this game. We also keep forgetting about it, but it's something fun that you can try, especially with your school students or with your children at home, or even yourself to learn more about how trees engage with their surrounding. And here are the resources. So in resources, you can go to pedagogy, and here are all the phenology guide, the photo guide that I showed you. This is a guide for a handbook actually for educators and teachers that you can explore, and it has many activities that you can do with your school students. Here are all the pocket guides. So this is in English, and all of these are in Indian languages, and we're going to add Telugu to this soon. And then there are some guides on how to season watch, and what is this is a pamphlet that tells about the project and that tells about the trees and how the observation is made. So to just show you an example, it might take some time to. Can you see this page that is loading right now?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So this is the season watch brochure that tells you about the project, that tells you about what to do with the trees, how to make observation, what stages to observe, how to make these observations, where can you reach out to us, and how the app looks. It's a bit old. The app was updated after this, but it still is the same principle. And here we have some names, like we had made a list for Bangalore especially. These are the common trees that are found across Bangalore and the English and scientific names of these trees. And we try to do this for multiple Indian languages, and all of them are available on our website. So you can explore all of this. Okay, I think we've shot over time and Anjali, yes, if you don't need login for playing the game. You can just go to the website and play it.
Lovely. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've also asked, is just like you have the trees from Bangalore which are on season watch,
Hmm.
is it possible to send us or me at least a list of the Uttarakhand trees which are on season watch?
Yeah, I can do that.
It'll be great.
You can also explore the whole list and see if it's found in your area. You can do it
Of
yourself
course.
as well. But I
Yes.
also try to make a list and its local names. It might take some time, but I'll try.
Okay.
We
Yeah.
have made like a Western Himalaya trees on our list, sort of PDF.
Okay.
I can send that to
Okay.
you. But not all
Yes.
of them would be found in Uttarakhand, so that's
No,
still
but that's good enough. That's good
yeah.
enough. Yeah.
So I'll send that PDF to you. So.
Yes. Thank
All right. Does anyone that's still on the meeting have any questions?
you. Nice. Thank you, Sai, for doing
Thank
this.
you, Anjali. I'm really glad you joined today. Thank you,
Mm.
Hemant, Ashish, Gaurav, Priyashri, and Sindhu for staying with me for so long. I've shared. Hemant, कुछ कहना है आपको?
नहीं मैडम,
हाँ,
थैंक यू। मुझे बहुत खुशी हुई आपके साथ काम करने में।
थैंक यू
क्या
Hemant.
मुझे वो क्या बहुत पसंद है पेड़ पौधे।
अच्छा,
मैं बाटनी से हूँ तो मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगेगा इसी टाइम में बात करने के लिए।
हाँ, आप प्लीज मुझे व्हाट्सएप पे एक मैसेज डाल दीजिएगा तो मैं आपको सारी चीजें जो हमारे पास हिंदी में है मैं आपको भेज दूंगी और शायद वो आपके काम आए। और आपको कुछ भी
हम्म,
सवाल है तो हम डिस्कशन करते
और
हैं।
उसी में वो आपने वो विज्ञापन दिया था उसमें।
हाँ, मैं नंबर फिर से इस चैट बॉक्स में डालती हूँ। आप उस पर
ओके।
मुझे मैसेज कर सकते हैं।
If possible, you can send us those pocket guides also, a few.
Yeah, sure, sure, of course.
Yeah, commentaries.
I'll send them in English as well as Hindi, perhaps. That might be helpful.
Yeah, English as well as Hindi would be good.
Okay, sure. Awesome. If there's
Okay.
nothing else, sorry.
No,
Yeah.
it's fine. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, if nothing else, we can end the call and we'll stay in touch with all of you for sure. And I look forward to your tree walks, Gaurav especially, and और कोई ट्री वॉक करे आपके एरिया में, बच्चों को पेड़ दिखाने ले जा सकते हैं आप. Please participate in the tree festival. I'm very excited to see. I hope somebody from some other state wins a prize this time. Me being on the team, I don't get any prizes even if I make maximum observations. So I'm banking on somebody else from my state and others to win prizes. ठीक है, जितने पेड़ देख सके, जितने ऑब्जर्वेशंस कर सके उतने कीजिएगा. और मजा कीजिए. प्लीज एंजॉय. इट्स अ सेलिब्रेशन ऑफ ट्रीज दिस फेस्टिवल and I look forward to being in touch with you and discussing things with you.
Thank you, Sai.
Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday and see you soon. Bye. Good night.